Hey everyone, welcome to the video. We'll be starting Season 69 and taking the more defensive path on this account. So going the top way at 2 ER, same with 3 ER, getting those tanks. And now just making our way towards boom cannons. So now we'll pick up shock mines. Being a little conservative on tokens, so only building damage level 4. Even after boom cannons, we'll probably only get level 3, but it's still something. And following this kind of path for pretty much a whole season. I know some other people went troop damage right away, and that can still work great at 4 ER, but defense might be better in the long run. We do have those squad leaders too, so most hits running 1 Zuka fan, 1 meat shield, and the rest tanks. Here we got our first match, a bit of a compact base from the left side, though no boom cannons. And over here we can do all tanks from just one side. Seems like the right isn't too bad, but still taking that meat shield and Zuka fan because, well, they both have their uses. Meat shield for good distraction and Zuka fan for getting some damage off. Because it's more of a compact, we can take 1 extra heavy. And that's just for these early mines and a bit of distraction on those cannons. Tanks are a bit slow, so we can drop those first. Then get the first heavy out. Lighting the Zuka fan second and the meat shield last. The meat shield works great too because all the heavies in that boat take less damage from everything else. And just letting the tanks do their thing. When the heavies move up a bit, we can flare the Zuka fan on some of these cannons. So watching how they go, can start flaring this cannon here. Then we'll move the meat shield and the other cannon and the other Zuka fan to this one. Still just letting them do their thing. Do want to save the Zuka fan, so we're going to bring him back. Because otherwise he goes in front of the tanks and is really easy to die out. When enough tanks are on the left side, can flare this cannon. So even though he might die at this point, you get some good value. And we can just flare the last ER. Here it looks like we'll get a bit slow time around 240. And see if it's enough. This case looks like it is. Against other players with defense, I think a 240 is an okay time, maybe even a bit slower. It's a lot about looking at their boosts and how much troop damage they have. Here we got another match. This guy with no boost but microwave. We could do mainly tanks from the right side. The way the buildings are, they can split up. And use the squad leaders for this left ER. They should survive after, so maybe even help on the right side. So just spreading out our tanks. Do something like this, then the 2 squad leaders. And because you have that squad flare, you can straight up go to that left ER. Start flaring both of them. And even 1 smoke around that machine gun. We'll let them do their thing. See how many tanks split on the right side. Watching that machine gun 2 on the left. Start going for this ER with both squad leaders, and we have smoke, so making sure we use a bunch of them. Not much else to use GB on. And they should help out over here. We can even flare the meat shield in the top ER as soon as this one dies out. But I do think the tanks on the top side should get it done. And that's how most of these hits are without boom cannons. Just finding a way for tanks to clear most of the base and squad leaders to flare the other ERs. We got 254. And it looks like enough. Here we got another match. Also a bit of a compact with one ER on the left side. And for this ER, we can just use one heavy. On the right, using all those tanks, meat shield, Zuko fan. One good thing about that Zuko fan is he does a lot of splash damage. So when he's hitting all these buildings, doing more damage to stuff behind it. And we can delay drop just a bit. Just doing the tanks on the right side and one heavy here. After enough of these buildings go down, start dropping the squad leaders. Because if we drop it too early, they'll just take too much damage from these snipers, machine guns. Want to sort of save their health. Can start dropping them maybe now. And that heavy on the left side is just gonna do his thing. Can flow the meat shield straight onto that flame. And he's always the last guy in the boat, same with the Zuko fan. So just watching them go. Can flare both of them a bit further back. And you can see that splash damage doing a bit more to the cannons behind it. And we can go ahead and start flaring a few of them. Even if the Zuko fan dies, got some good value done. Because now the tanks can just finish off these few ERs. Looks like not a super fast time, but he didn't have any offense boosts, so it might be okay. We'll get around 240 and see if that's good. Here, that's a win. We got another match over here. This one being a 3 ER. And we've seen quite a few of them also push up. We'll try using squad leaders for both those ERs. And for sure a few tanks on this side. Maybe also on this side just to get some GB. So we'll do 3 tanks on the left. 3 over here, and then the squad leaders. Right away flaring that top ER. And we have smoke, so making sure we use it. Going past some snipers and machine guns. Tanks are looking okay. Can also flare the meat shield a bit sooner, just to distract the other cannons. And then go with the Zuko fan. So really just relying on that Zuko fan now for this ER. Good thing about 3 ERs is they have a bit less health than 4s. So it should die and we'll get 316. Hopefully that's enough. And in this case, looks like it is. And that'll be 14, so we'll get that chest. It should have just enough keys to pick up boom cannons. And it looks like even max them out. That's why we also left gunboat level 4, same with mortars. Even if you can't max boom cannons right away, it's still fine. Level 3 you get most of them, but we have the tokens so can go ahead and max them. We'll be running a base like this, hoping that most people fizzle. I'm sure there's a chance that some people with a bunch of offense can still finish, but see how it goes. Maybe enough for rank 15. Got our first match over here. And here, kind of like us, a really dirty compact with boom cannon. And we could do a few more heavies on this base. Can try 4 heavies and 4 tanks, going everyone from the right side. Still want to do the Zuko fan meat shield last. And at some point maybe use a Zuko fan to flare down cannons, boom cannons. because they're the main threat to all these heavies and tanks. Since tanks are slower, we'll drop them first. And wait just a few seconds, then trickle in some heavies. As the one bow is going, then drop the next one. Just so there's always like a line of heavies. And again doing the meat shield, the very last one. Watching the tanks do their thing. Cannons two-shot them, and I think if boom cannons are max, they're one-shot. So just watching that a bit. Zook fan, we can go on the right side, move the meat shield up in the middle. And now just start flaring down boom cannons. So this one here, then the next one. And just keep on going, flaring down boom cannons. Because as long as they're dead, then we should finish a base. Have a bit more health than the last one. We'll see if we can get it down. But we might, since it only has a little bit of health. That one tank might get it. And it's going to be a really slow time, but we got it down. And since that guy doesn't have much offense, he's going to not finish. So how we're hitting most of these really dirty compact bases. It could be a bit easier if we also get troop damage. So we'll kind of decide later on if the next step is moving to 5 ER. Still leaning towards that, but another option is getting some TD. So we'll pull a 2-minute time and take that win. Here we got another match. This guy with 50 troop health, 50 TD. And we can do a bunch of tanks on this side, not a lot of mine. And on the right over here, maybe a couple of squad leaders. Three tanks might also be enough for this ER. So we'll do something like that. Doing 3 tanks on this side, 3 on that side. And then a couple of squad leaders. Right away flaring that ER. And I think most of the meat shield heavies should deal with those boom mines. And because of that meat shield, don't have to worry too much about those cannons. Tanks on the left looking okay. Can also watch a Zook fan, keep him alive after the ER goes down by throwing a smoke, then just flaring both of them to this ER. And the Zook fan should get some good damage off. Even though the tanks on the right are lagging behind, that Zook fan should solo that ER. And we'll get around at 3-minute time. And see if that's enough. Here, looks like it is. Seems he was running heavies, cryo, Zooks. Looks like no Kavan just yet. But we've seen quite a few people with Kavan. Seems to be working good at 3-4 ER. But again, the idea with the defense path is once you go to 5 with rockets, doom cannon, maybe it won't be so great. He still got a good time though and finished. 247. Sometimes Warships is about hoping you don't match too many of these players. And we'll do this hit here. This guy with 30 troop health, 80 troop damage. And another kind of base we've been seeing can go with only 2 squad leaders, the rest tanks. 2 tanks should be enough for this ER. And we'll just drop the rest on the right side. Mainly using the squad leaders for all this stuff. So 2 over here, and the rest on this side. Also dropping in the squad leaders. And the meat shield, we can throw that machine gun, the Zook fan onto that cannon. Because after those 2 die, hopefully the Zook fan can get the really Backyars. Doesn't have any building damage yet, so our heavy should survive a bit. Can throw the Zook fan on the sniper. And when that sniper goes down, you can just flare the Backyars. Meat shield even for this top left. And we're flaring the Backyars because the tanks are already going to get the one in the front. So getting that last ER down. And looks like around a 3-minute time. He did have quite a bit of offense, so we'll see if it's fast enough. And looks like it is. So maybe still able to beat those really offensive players. Because they have less defense, you can be a bit more aggressive with hits. And that's rank 15. So now we're just going to wait and see a bit. We could get boom mines, not max them out quite a bit, but still better than nothing. And there's quite a few options left. Either we go towards 5 ER, save for that, or even some more defense like 20 building health. And on the flip side, we can go for offense too. Because we went through tanks, we'd probably get this troop damage first. And there's no real rush for this season, only day 1 of a full 3 weeks. So we can just see how it is. But that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.